The dwarfs of Erebor have come to take out this threat rising in the east. Hey, how's it going? My name is Jackie Fish and welcome back to another glorious online battle. Today we are on an epic custom map as the dwarfs and Dale clash against the forces of Isengard and Mordor. We are of course using the new Mordor units as well, which are really awesome. Definitely a great addition to the Rise of Mordor team. You can see a good glimpse of them right here. I believe the update isn't quite out yet for you guys. I'll make sure to link it in the description as soon as it does come out over on ModDB, because they had to actually go ahead and remove it from the workshop. So as soon as it is live, I will be sure to either post the videos to let you guys know or just stick it down below in the comments. But today's battle should be very exciting. I also really kind of dig this mist. I mean, it doesn't look great when we zoom all the way out. When we get in kind of close to the dwarfs and stuff, it looks really cool, just kind of eeriness in the forest. I'm a fan when we zoom in, not so much when we zoom out though. But yes, in this battle it's going to be one hell of an engagement, and we are on a pretty cool Dunland custom map. This is kind of a city as the artillery does get fired off. So this is kind of like an outward fortress village more than anything else. We've got some outer defenses here with only a few bridges into the settlements. We have some high ground which the Orcs of Mordor are currently defending. And then as we make our way in, we just kind of have a normal city layout where, you know, forces will be fighting over these villages. We have a nice little dock back here along with a bridge, so you can actually envelop the city if you want to go all the way around the back. That is definitely something you can do. And then also I believe there is a river crossing here as well. Yeah, I'm pretty sure you can cross this river. Also in this patch as well, we have new low lods for the Orcs as well. So these guys will be much better at performance. You can already tell that, you know, this is going to be great because we do have 13,000 enemy units. The forces of evil rack up 13,000 units. That's just absolutely crazy. I mean, that's mainly because of these huge numbers of Orc rabble, which have 260 Orcs in. And I believe quite a few of the Uruk-hai units have over 200 in their units as well. So this is kind of one of the main reasons their numbers are as hectic as they are, as the Dwarven artillery now does return some fire. Not unfortunately finding any big hits, but I imagine they're mainly trying to go ahead and weaken down these defenses that the Orcs do have set up right now. We also have a nice little position out here where we have a bit of a cavalry engagement. Some of the Dalian cavalry have moved up. Some escort merchants of Dale have pushed forward over on this hand side. And then we also have, by the looks of it, something glitched out right here. I think this was just something to do with the custom map. Then we'll have these forces moving forward as well. However, we do actually have a little ambush being sprung as some of the escort merchants clash into this Orc rabble who have just come flying forward. I mean, I imagine more than anything, this is just simply a delay tactic, right? This is never going to do anything to their lines. Just trying to kind of cause them some issues, use their numbers to their advantage, and tire out a few of these Dale infantrymen. Because, I mean, the Orc rabble do not stand a chance against heavily armoured infantry. Also, though, do keep in mind that a lot of the balancing hasn't been done yet. So, you know, these Orc rabble, I think, are receiving a big morale buff in the next patch, just so they stick around and don't rout so quickly. So even though there are a ton of them, you know, they just end up routing really quickly. So I think they are going to be getting a bit of a morale buff in the next patch when it comes out for everyone. So just keep that in mind, that, you know, all of this balancing is very much subject to change. But I do definitely see them on the Discord, you know, looking into all of this and helping out. What are the dwarfs up to? Are the dwarfs forming a shield wall quickly? Yeah, the dwarfs are forming a shield wall as well. Oh no, they're charging! They're counter-charging the Orc rabble! As both the lines do clash. And you can also, what I think is really cool, see the dwarfs moving in the distance as well up on that hill. I always love seeing, like, big army movements in the distance. Something that I'm definitely a fan of. And I imagine, obviously, this is the main assault force right here. But then we're going to have, you know, a big Orc force, or a Dwarf force, sorry, so with the support of some Dale infantry to kind of try and crash around here. But I also think we have a nice little ambush being set up right here with a lot of the Dunland men over here as well. Yeah, Dunland tribesmen, obviously defending their city. And then we do have a lot of Orc infantry as well. But again, it's just Orc rabble, so no one really too good. And some skirmishers, so I imagine when these, like, this infantry collides in to try and hit this part of the settlement, they're going to spring their trap. Speaking of which, it seems like the Orcs are just being smashed down. And look how good that is as well. The Orcs are actually a bit bigger than the Dwarfs. Moving more cavalry up as well. I guess this is pretty good as well because it allows the Orcs and Mordorian forces just to shell the defenses, and it also means that the Dwarfs aren't using their artillery as effectively as they would like, and they're not using their crossbows. Because they've charged this front line, they've had to bring the crossbows back, which is delaying their assault because now the crossbows can't shoot on all of these guys. I mean, now they've managed to kill the rabble, but it's slowing them up quite heavily. I mean, yeah, they haven't really even killed a soldier. So this is one of the things I'm talking about with balancing. Like, you'd think, you know, there are 260 of them in a unit. They would kill quite a few of these airborne, no matter how heavily armored they are. But I think in just this patch, which this replay was done on, the Orc rabble need just a big boost to their stats. Whether it is to morale or whatever, because, yeah, the Spear Guard not losing a single dwarf, I understand that there is a big quality difference, but yeah, come on, like, you know, they would still kill quite a few. Well, not quite a few, you know, 10, 15, 20. They did manage to bring them into the archer fire. Maybe that would have been a better strategy, just to kind of lure these guys in and allow the arrow fire just to unload. Because I believe these players do have some Uruk bowmen who are pretty decent. Yeah, the Uruk bowmen right here, they're pretty goddamn strong. And I think one of the complaints people had about these models was there's just not enough variation of them. Because I think they look great, but yeah, I do agree there's not enough variation. But you guys have to understand that the new team that's working on this mod don't really have a ton of artists, so they just can't make a ton of different variations at this point. They will obviously come in the future, but right now they just don't have the manpower. So I mean, if you are a modder and you watch this and you're a good 3D modeler, be sure to go ahead and hit them up on their Discord, because they're always looking for new members to come and help out if you can make good models. So, you know, they just don't have the manpower to really go ahead and commit to that and, you know, add in more and more stuff. So here we go, the Men of Dale are going to be starting off the first assault onto heavy artillery fire. This artillery does not seem very accurate though. I don't think we've seen a single hit come down. They're going to be charging in. Is that Orc crossbow? Is that Orcs or is that Urukai crossbows? I think that's Uruks. Yeah, the Uruks are shooting over, and there are also then towers as well helping out. Are these guys going to form shield wall before charging in? A lot of these arrows are kind of not finding their mark. There are also some Orc rabble which are just kind of going back and forth into the formation. And here we go. The lines are going to be throwing up. Urukai, they're going to also be moving up though, looking for blood as Dale and the Uruks crush into one another. Their battle lines fiercely fighting back and forth. It seems like the Urukai though are using their Urukai scouts, which aren't going to be as strong as these Dale swordsmen, so they should make a quick work of these guys. It's also really cool to see the formations. Like, this looks pretty dope. I'm not going to lie, with the Uruk bowmen and the formations. Like, yeah, I'm a big fan of this kind of setup. This is a really cool map. So a massive shout out to Lolwat for this map, and you can see the Uruks just mustering their bows. The artillery coming in as well. Oh, that's beautiful. More Uruk pikemen being brought up to the front line. You can see them guys right there. There's just so much back and forth right now on both sides. So let's see how they're doing over here. Are they committed to any fighting over here? No, they're just simply forming up, getting their crossbows in range. But we do also have some Uruk crossbows, Urukai crossbows. I need to actually specify that. I'm too used to just saying Uruks because these are the only Uruks we've had, but... Also, I don't know if it's something they can do, but it wouldn't be a bad idea. I don't know if you can size up the armor, but to size up this armor and just stick it on the Urukai as well, you know, that could be a cool unit to have. Because obviously they don't have, as I said, like, they don't have the manpower to make loads of different models. At the moment, they're just having to use this one model for basically all the Orcs until they can, do more of these. So maybe it wouldn't be bad just to kind of take the Uruk model and try and change it a little bit, maybe, to add in a bit more, a bit more variety to the units. That's something they could do, like a quick fix for now. I'm sure, again, people wouldn't really mind whatsoever. Because, you know, I feel like the model we have at the moment is obviously meant for orcs, not the Orcs, kind of, who are much more bulkier. But also it's very, very hard to do that because, you know, in Rise of Mordor, they have to use the human skeleton. So it's just, like, so difficult to try and to change it. God, the Tiller is just a difficult game to edit up. Anyway, let's just get back to the battle. Let's just enjoy this battle. I've been talking too much about the mod in general, and we should just be enjoying the battle as so many fire arrows come piling in on these Dalian spear guard. But again, they're in shield wall, so they're going to be getting a great resistance to that missile fire. They also look so good. Ugh. One of the first units we saw in the Rise of Mordor kind of release, and they just still look as beautiful as ever. The Dale Bowmen are going to be retaliating with fire arrows down. And this is really important because there's a lot of Uruk-hai pikemen here, which need to be taken out ASAP. So yeah, these Dale Bowmen are going to be needed. But these are Bardings, and these are like the best bowmen Dale have to offer. So shooting in their shots is going to be, you know, very, very deadly. And they're going to be taking out a lot of these Uruk pikemen and opening up gaps. Everywhere else, though, seems pretty contended, and we're actually starting to lose a handful of infantry over on this part of the battlefield. They're going to be, you know, pursuing, and there is only Uruk-hai scouts over here, so even though they do have numbers, it's not like they have the quality. And as you can see, the numbers, you know, the men of, I guess the men of the good side of Dale and Erebor have only lost about 400 men, whereas the Orcs and Uruk-hai of Isengard have lost close to 2,000. So you can see that quality really coming in clutch. But the pikemen are standing firm, even though, you know, they've lost some infantry back here. The Uruk-hai scouts have fallen back a bit more. They are making great progress. The dwarfs trying to just simply duck under these orc pikes. Oh, I really love the weapons. I don't think I noticed this before, but these halberds are cool. They're like very rusty. They've got like markings on. Yeah, I must not have seen this in the previous video I did. But I really dig this. This is cool. I like these weapons. And again, like obviously more variation will be awesome when it comes. But yeah, these are nice weapons. They look very much like they're from Mordor, you know. They're just like mass produced, and that's about it. They're not exactly great quality, but they don't need quality. That's cool. And then we have kind of more of the armored Uruks right here with like different weapons as well. And the bowmen back there. They're still just harassing. Oh, they're kind of, yeah, they're trying to get over here. And we do see some Orc rabble trying to retreat back. Again, I feel like the best way to use this Orc rabble is just as a meat shield, obviously. But as a meat shield whilst you're hammering that position with missiles. We have the dwarfs going in. I love the dwarven axes as well. I believe these are new dwarven axes, or at least relatively new. They look very nice though. Like really cool weapons. This Orc rabble acting as like a vanguard, a forlorn hope to hold back the dwarfs. And they're actually committing these guys though. But again, I just don't see like until the Orc rabble get a few stat boosts here and there. I just don't really see them doing any damage to these guys, unfortunately, because I think this was like the second battle they did. Maybe even the first battle they did. Front lines are holding quite nicely, though, for the Orcs, or at least over on this side, obviously with their more elite infantry involved in this part of the battle. Committing in more and more men. Or Orcs, I should say. And they're using kind of just their Orcs as like a shield wall for their archers to rack up kills. And they are making more progress there, sending back some of the Orc pikes. You can see these other Orc helmets as well. I mean, again, I don't think it'd be too bad to stick like these Orc helmets on the Uruks as well, you know? Just really mix and match. I feel like with Mordor, just kind of really just adding in like these helmets and like maybe a few different random shields as well. At least until they like update models later on. I think that would be a really nice way of doing things, personally anyway. as the dwarves try and break their way through. Let me know what you guys think in the comments down below. Like, would you like to see that? Or, like, in everything I've said, like, I've suggested in this, I'm going to go stick on the forums after I've recorded this video. But let me know what you guys think of it. Do you think that's kind of would be cool? Do you think that wouldn't be cool? Seems like a really big breach has happened here for the attackers. They've just not been able to break through, and that's really pained them. Artillery hit coming in big, though, right there, hitting the Uruk-hai. Got archers as well. Oh, this entire volley of these poor half-orc axes. Just missing. I mean, not poor. They managed to avoid all that archer fire, but still. Oh, my God. It's like a flamethrower going in on these Dalian cavalry regiments. That's not too good. And it seems like more of reserves are having to be brought up just to deal with this. I mean, the fact is, the Uruk-hai are clumped up here, but we will make them easy pickings for the missiles. But these half-orc axes for Isengard are so goddamn good. Oh, that's a slice right down the middle there. That was brutal. Yeah, the half-orc axes just do so much damage. But with them clumping up, you know, the arrow fire is coming in. It does seem like, you know, the numbers are starting to drop. So they're softening up quite a few of these assaults. The Dawi are engaging with more of these Uruks out here. The Dawi Axemen. Or the Dwarven Axemen. People don't like it when I call them Dawi because it's like Warhammer. It's just I'm so used to saying it. But the Dwarven Axemen. Oh, also, I know it's a little bit off topic, but who's hyped for the Amazon series? They went ahead and announced the kind of era they're doing it in. If they're doing the Second Age and the Forging of the Rings, who's goddamn hyped for that? You know I am. That's going to be absolutely awesome. I can't wait. Especially because, you know, they're spending $1 billion on it. So, it better be goddamn good. And it's cool as well, I think, that they're not focusing on, like, the Lord of the Rings either, or the Hobbit, you know. They're going somewhere completely different where they can flesh it out and do their own stuff, rather than constantly being compared to, like, well, the movies were better because of this, you know. When it's a completely different time, you know, like literally hundreds or thousands of years beforehand. I think it's much better. And then it will obviously, I imagine, end in the Battle of the Last Alliance as well. So we'll get to see that fully done in all its glory. And especially with Game of Thrones around the corner going to be setting the standard for goddamn epic battles with the Battle of Winterfell. I'm really excited to see what they can do with the Battle of the Last Alliance. Because I imagine, you know, Amazon will want to be topping that if they can. And I'm sure they'll be capable of doing it. So we'll have to see. We'll have to see. And I mean, taking a look at the battle, we can really start to see that the Vineland Guard, obviously the elite infantry for Dale, are finally making progress. Finally making progress. I mean, it's still very back and forth around here, and we are just waiting for more assaults. And if we take a look over this bridge, we can see that the next assault is coming along. Oh, and I really like the way the modder has created this awesome bridge. Like, instead of just creating, like, a bridge all the way down there, I like the way how he's built it up. That's a really nice kind of get around of not being able to have like elevated bridges and stuff. That's really cool. So the dwarves have tried to push across this backward bridge. Smart decision by them, because if they can envelop the defenders and spread out their forces, they'll have a much better chance. And they are also only fighting the orc infantry, so it shouldn't be too out of this world. You got some more of these half-orc sixes just waiting to come back in. We also had a cavalry charge coming in, but they're going to just run themselves onto the orc pikes. Yeah, the orc pikes are going to cut these guys down. I think their goal was to try and get onto their missiles, but they got caught here, and the archers, along with the pikes, are just slaughtering this merchant caravan guard. And the bowmen now as well. I mean, these guys have pulled out their swords, but it seems like they're really struggling here, and the cavalry just can't get its way around. I don't really know what the cavalry's up to, but they're just stuck on these orc pikes and not having a good time of things. If we take a nice little zoom out shot, we can really see the full engagement. So we've got crossbows moving up, pushing back the defenders. The front line is still very back and forth, but I think that the forces of good are making their, their progress there. It also wouldn't be a bad idea to travel across this river crossing, come down here and invade there, because I don't think they have anything back here, and it does look like a river crossing here, so I mean, make it easy to step over. Yeah, you can cross this entire river because it's not X'd out, so it wouldn't be a bad idea just to cross this and then come round, and yeah, then you can hit them all down the side. It might be a better strategy. I just don't think the players really know about it, as we have more Orc arrow fire. I mean, these Mordor Orc rabble are just doing so much damage as they continue to volley off. I mean, look at the bodies piling up here as well. As just more and more soldiers get committed. Yeah, I mean, every time the Orcs the forces of good finally break through, more Orcs are just committed to the fight. Balance of power, though, is pretty even. And if you take a look at the casualties, you can really see the amount of soldiers the forces of Mordor and Isengard have lost. As we have the final assault right here. The first unit across over on this left-hand side. They're going to be up against the Uruk-hai, though. And the Dowie are up to their waist in water as they try and cross this river. So I imagine their movement will be impeded. And look at this little, look at them like pushing their shields. Go on, Dowieman. Yeah, the Dowie pushed him back. The dwarf pushed him back, sorry. I'm just so used to saying it. And he's smacking down his shield. The Uruk-hai is going to try and fight back, though. Let's keep an eye on this. I'm excited to see a few more Dwarven brothers come to the help. Is this guy just coming over here? Got another engagement there as well. Oh, he disarmed him. He disarmed him. Oh, and smashed him right through the nuts. Now, that is brutal. And effing the chat for that goddamn Uruk-hai right there. More and more of them are coming in as the forces of Dale push in. Here we go. The battle is really heating up now. It also looks really good. I don't know what it is about. Maybe it's just the atmosphere or the shader that's on, but I feel like these Dale swordsmen really stand out. We are also using a few animation mods as well, which are great because it just adds in more variety to the fighting back and forth. Something else they could also do, actually, is like maybe for a few of these units, like maybe for a few of the Orc rabble units as well. Like, just add in, like, a Gondor helmet here and there, like a scruffed-up Gondor helmet. That could be kind of cool. Like, they've harassed a Gondor patrol, killed, like, ambushed a bunch of people, and he's been like, yeah, I'll take this helmet. This is quite cool. You know, just, like, one in a unit of 260 or something could be kind of nice. Like, really make it dark and rusty and stuff. Oh, yeah, look at this defense as well. This is quite funny. I think this is supposed to be for bowmen, so they can harass anyone coming over. Is this going any better for them? I mean, it's very back and forth. And as you can see, the Orcs have brought up a lot more of their bowmen now. So if we get any more infantry coming in here, I mean, obviously they have to go through these Uruk-hai scouts, but they're not really the toughest units. So maybe a cavalry charge would be great. I mean, I still think they just don't know about this river crossing right here. And it would be great to just bring around a cavalry unit and hit these guys in the back. Small progress has been made on this side, but again, they're fighting Uruks, so it's not like it's quick work. I really do like the Uruk sword as well. And yeah, there's two variations of this sword, which is nice. The bowmen are just waiting out, almost out of ammunition. So the dwarves are breaking. Oh yeah, we have some of the White Hand Stormers as well. These guys are very deadly. They're like the top tier infantry for Isengard, and now they're going, you know, clashing against. But if we take a look, there's not really a lot of reserves left for the Forces of Evil. I imagine their numbers are dropping. Yeah, their numbers are down to 6,000, and the Forces of Good have only lost 2,000. Wow, that really doesn't seem like the case. I feel like they've just been absolutely smashed on this part of the battlefield here. You know, the Orcs are even, you know, pushing out of this. I guess they're just winning in other positions. Here we go. You got an Orc charge in their formation. Arrow fire coming in. They're going to be able to, you know, side on charge against these Vineland Guard. And the Rangers as well. It's a very slow charge. I'm not really sure what happened there. I guess they are making progress along here as more and more of the dudes move over. It seems like this is like a really glitchy bridge. Unfortunately, sometimes that's just the case with these custom maps. We also have a unit of crossbows here, which is trying to, I guess, get around the side and break through. Yeah, I mean, it kind of doesn't seem like that. It seems like the Orcs and the Forces of Evil are really winning this battle. I mean, the balance of power is in their favor. But I don't know, number-wise, seems like the Forces of Good are bringing it back. I guess it's going to come down to whether or not any of... Because there's 3 fronts right now, right? There's this center line right here. There's this kind of river crossing. And then there's this rear bridge. I think it's going to come down to whether or not any of these breaches or any of these assaults can meet up with another one. You know, if these can break through and come and help out here. If these guys can break through and help out here. I think that's going to be the defining factor to the battle. Because both sides still have very similar numbers. And I imagine a lot of the weaker Orcs have now died. And it's just going to be a lot more of these Uruk-hai and Uruks left remaining. I mean, they're making progress here, though, as more of the airable axes fight off. But again, they're getting just peppered by archer fire. The York missiles have been the MVPs in this battle. And I mean, obviously that is so such a necessity in these siege battles. You can see the dwarves bloodied, many arrows in their backs as well. But this orc unit has just run out of ammunition. This one still has some, but this orc unit has run out of ammunition, so maybe the battle will start to turn. We have cavalry running amok right now in the back lines, and many more units being just broken through. So yeah, they finally managed to make some pretty big progress. We do have more infantry being, you know, kind of quickly thrown over. Some Uruk Throng, which again are a pretty decent unit. Charging against his cavalry. But if you take a look over there, the Vineland Guard are quickly being committed. Cavalry's being poured through the breach itself. And they're going to be advancing forward. And that's going to, you know, take off a lot of pressure off these other areas. I mean, we still have a huge, you know, force ready to be committed over here. Seems like they want to commit more men over on this left-hand side as well to help out in the fight. Yeah, it seems like there's a real big pathfinding issue here. I mean, it doesn't seem like this is going to be successful, but I guess all they need to do is just keep up. There's a good, like, 1,000 orcs here, so as long as they keep them at bay there, they can really focus elsewhere. The crossbows are continuing to come in, but I guess this is going to be the main point of contention. Cavalry, missiles, everything else being thrown into this fight. Finally taking out the towers. It might have been a good idea to kill the towers earlier on with artillery, honestly. Cavalry towering over the Uruk scum. Yeah, these towers are still racking up kills. Like, these towers do some serious damage, so it's never a bad idea to kill them. And we also have some more of these Uruk axes. Or these are just Orc rabble axes, yeah, coming around to rear charge into the Vineland Guard. A nice maneuver there. I mean, they are being hit by the siege crossbows there of the dwarfs. They're going to be able to rear charge. They're obviously going to leave their side very vulnerable to these crossbows, but, you know, even still, they're going to do some good damage. And you can see that devastating charge killing, you know, a good portion of these Vineland Guard. But more progress being made over on this side of the battlefield. Seems like they've really, like, just getting hammered here by the elite Isengard infantry. The White Hand Stormers just holding their ground. I mean, that's what they're designed for. And these spearmen are not going to be the unit to break them, right? Even with the support of the crossbows as well, because I imagine the crossbows have a great kind of view. I mean, if we take a look from their point of view, they have a great position just to shoot up here, because there's no all the friendly units are lowered down. So if they just focus up here, they can do a lot of damage. But I mean, I guess they're more focused on killing these pikemen. We also have the Uruk general coming in from Mordor. I imagine the missile fire is going to be focused down on him now. Killing that general will just go ahead and cause huge issues in the Mordor ranks. Yeah, the numbers are finally breaking. I mean, we still have a big kind of contingent of Orcs here, but everywhere else it seems like the Arable Axemen have broken their way through, you know, cleaned out these areas, and now they just continue to push up once and for all. Especially with the artillery. You know, just bombarding, you know, breaking any more men that they see. Pretty decent. And they're also winning over on this side as well. A huge break by Mordor. They just have some of their Orc pikemen left, but I think we're going to have some infantry coming around the side, even some cavalry in the back as well, a merchant guard of Erebor. So all of a sudden, the balance of power has gone basically even, and I think towards the forces of good. Especially with this cavalry coming in. Oh yeah, let's definitely jump on board with this cavalry as they come flying into these Uruk bowmen. A few of the bowmen are still shooting, but the cavalry should be enough to deal with them, especially with more reinforcements as well. They've taken the tower, and now they can quickly maneuver their way down here and push in. I mean, there is still a unit of what? Just Orc. I mean, these are Uruk from back here as well, so this unit's going to hold for a while, honestly. But I think you can also cross this. Is this like a river crossing? I think it might be. So you should be able to cross this as well. But as we said, the main kind of push is coming from here. Oh, we have a unit of cavalry as well, harassing, looking to either kill the general for Dale with their javelins, or try and hit some artillery. They're going to keep on fleeing as this cavalry does pursue them. And the crossbows are also being turned as well. Getting turned up to shoot these guys. Oh, that's a brutal volley. They are going to continue to move on. This is a pretty good strategy just to smash down these dwarves. The dwarves managed to resist pretty nicely though. And they charge onto this unit, being caught. But I mean, that's a pretty nice move. They whittled down the Dale general quite nicely. But as you can see, the front line is completely broken, and the dwarfs and Dale are just pouring them through this battle. And there's not really a lot left for the forces of evil. You can see only 3,000 of them still left remain on the battlefield, and most of that is probably right here, and a handful of these archers. So if they just continue on, I think the forces of good probably have this battle, but who knows? It's not like the forces of good have a ton of men left. Just still trying to break up this beachhead is brutal stuff. Now, as you can see, that's exactly what's happening now. What we said earlier is I'm just quickly committing more and more men around here. They've still got actually a small engagement. They still haven't broken these pikes. Man, I'm surprised they didn't maybe commit some cavalry, because I imagine a rear charge from cavalry would have killed that, but I guess that's fine. Yeah, but it's gonna be, they're not really going to be able to break across this. I guess they are drawing men away from it, though, which is pretty decent. And they are engaged upon some missiles. So this is exactly what they want to do, just thin out the infantry. There's just no infantry left to send over here, so they're having to commit their bowmen against the dwarves. And the dwarves will obviously claim victory here. With only 5 minutes left in the battle, everyone is going all out and everything is being committed. The forces of Dale actually just recently lost their general, which was really unfortunate, to some missile fire. Everything is being committed, swords and spears and crossbows alike. The Dwarven engineers are trying to get around the side, I imagine, to shoot these guys. They've also managed to commit some more infantry, some of the Erebor Axe Warriors, through into the village, and they're just going to be going for one big assault here. They've also made great progress here, killing a lot of the infantry, and now really there's hardly anything left. But I mean, there's still a unit of like cavalry right here, unless this is desynced, which I don't think it has, but they can still commit this battle, you know, this unit up. I guess maybe this unit has desynced. I don't know. I mean, battle has still been playing out relatively normal. Normally, it's quite obvious when the battle desyncs, so hopefully it hasn't, but that is a possibility. But it seems like it's the only one, so maybe it's just been forgotten about. Let's tell ourselves that. Look at this White-Hand Stormer unit. I mean, they're still depleted, but my god, there's a handful of them left. Crossbows breaking through, and there's just nothing to stop these crossbows really anymore. So they can have free reign. I think they're doing exactly what I think they are. Yeah, they're basically just going to form up here and shoot into the backs of these Orcs, and we can quickly take a look at how much damage that's going to do. I mean, it wouldn't be a bad idea for the Orcs just to disengage and charge these crossbows. Or are they going to be dealing with the missiles? Oh, we've got a unit of White-Hand Stormers still left alive. Wow. Crossbow volley does a good damage, good amount of damage, but I think these guys are going to obviously find them and kill them very, very quickly. It'd be nice if we could get one volley in, try and whittle them down below 180. As they try and fall back. But the defenses do get broken, and more men are pouring through bit by bit. And if we just triple speed as forces continue to move in. I don't know, I felt like maybe the forces of evil have. I don't know, I honestly don't know who's going to win this battle. I mean, we managed to break from there, which is great. They still haven't won up here. I mean, it's basically a very even fight.
The men are broken and running for the
Oh yeah, the forces of good easily have this now, I think. With all of this breaking through, there's only like a handful of archers. And by the looks of it, we do have a few desynced units, I guess. Because I don't think these players are bad at all. You know, they're very, very, very good. So, but I mean, it seems like they're desyncing, but the rest of the battle is playing out pretty nicely. So, we'll be able to tell, actually, at the end of a battle, if the units have kills, then that's worked. And they have kills in the battle, so we'll have to see. But yeah, I think the forces of evil are just simply going to break because there's just nothing left, and that's going to be GG indeed, just because of the sheer victory, the amount of men who have poured in and taken this Dunland town. So it does seem like we have desynced a little because the battle's about to end and there's no like defining winner. But I think the forces of good had this one. I'm sure the players will let you know who won in the comments down below. That's annoying, but we did desync. There's always the issue that, you know, there might be a desync right there. You can tell because everyone's killed. But I mean, overall, the battle played out pretty excitingly, I think, as both sides already clashed in. It probably, obviously, the replay play had a bit more of a determining factor at the end. But overall, really, really cool stuff. I enjoyed the battle. Let me know what you guys thought of the engagement down below in the comments. And I'll see you guys in the next one.